Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back. Today we are going to fit the 6-inch 45 pieces for this 8-inch overhead that we've been working on. Super excited about it. If you haven't seen the first two videos of this project, we will link them in the description below. If you're interested in any of the tools that I've been using, the blue book, the soapstone, this welding shirt, or even the circle burners, haven't used the circle burners on this project yet, but if you're interested in any of those tools, you can find them on my website, AROSSWELDING.com. Let's get started. All right, this is what we've got right here. We got our uprights cut to 20 foot from right here to the end, both of them. Got our one weld made. We got 24 inside to inside of our uprights. I left 3 foot hanging over here. And now the next thing we're gonna do is fit the 6-inch to go right here. So we're gonna have a piece of 6-inch pipe, but it's gonna have to be saddled and on a 45. So that's what we're fixing to do. So on these 8-inch saddles, we found the quarters by just taking a soft tape and wrapping it around and seeing what the circumference was and dividing it by 8. Well, now I'm gonna show you all a different way, which is using receipt paper. Don't need a tape or anything. Picked a good day to do it, nice and windy with receipt paper, that's always handy. So you want to overlap it and then cut it in the middle. That way you have an exact measurement. Then you're going to take this receipt paper and just fold it 8 times. That right there would be a half. This right here will be a quarters. And this right here will be, should be eighths. So all we're doing is dividing this into 1/8-inch sections. So once we get that, we're going to take some scissors or something similar. In my case, it's going to be a pair of dikes. Okay, so we're going to cut off this corner and this corner. Technically that's all we need, but let's go ahead and do these two in case we just want to. So now we'll take this, wrap this bad boy back around here. Now we can go ahead and mark our 8s, just like so. Then we're going to take our piece of angle, go ahead and make our lines. All right, now we're gonna go to page 38 in our blue book, and you're gonna find on page 37, you can kind of see exactly what we're gonna need to do here with this 6-inch to the 8-inch. And I'm hoping, I've never done one of this size. I've actually done a 2-inch, it looks like, and they don't have 2-inch, but I made my own 2-inch right here. But I'm hoping, since this is all that they give us, 6-inch to 8-inch, versus like if you try to go 8-inch over here and 6-inch, they don't give you any numbers. I'm guessing that's because you're never going to have a 6-inch. Just swap it out. What we're doing here, we got 8-inch, just swap it out. 6-inch, and then an 8-inch. You're never gonna do that because your piece that's going over, most generally you're never gonna do that. Like, not saying you can't, but it's not proper without manipulating, without heating up the pipe and like bending it to make it match, if that makes sense. So I'm guessing through process of elimination that these are the numbers that we need. So 8-inch to 6-inch right here. And these are gonna be the 4 numbers that we need. Inch and 11/16, 4 and 13/16, 6-inch, and 6 and a 16th. This is the picture we're gonna be using because it's in 8ths here. I've already made a reference line, which is here. According to this picture, 0 is either the throat or the long part here. I usually call it, this number 4, I usually call that 0, but either way, they're directly across from each other. So 0, we're gonna call this or I want to call it the longest part here. Hey Karen, what are you doing today? You're here at the shop, you're not out there catching mice. Spoiled cat, I'll tell you what. And then the next one is going to be a little bit longer at 1, and then 2, and then 3, and directly underneath is 4. So we're gonna go 1 and 11/16 right here. 1 and 11/16. 4 and 13/16. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 13/16. Number 3 is 6 inches. I always like to burn an inch or 2 or 3 just to get a real accurate measurement. So 3, 1, 2, 3, 6. 6 inches. And then our last one is 6 and a 16th. Now we're going to connect the dots, which is so very tricky in my opinion. So I feel like I want to, just going off this picture, I feel like I want to connect these 3 dots, like not the very end one here, but here, here, and here. So not the very end one, but 1, 2, 3 maybe? That's what I'm hoping. And I'm gonna connect the throats here. So interesting. Not much changes here. Just a 16th it says. So we'll see what happens. I hope y'all are excited as I am to see how this fits. But we're not gonna know for a minute because once I get this cut, I'm gonna have to measure from here to here, whatever this measurement here is. Here to here, which is about 31 inches, 31 1/8. Hot diggity. All right, let's go ahead and make a cut. Try not to catch my grass on fire. Karen, what are you doing? Get out of there. It's not your house.
about being comfortable. Do whatever it takes to get comfortable. Boy, if that ain't exciting, I don't know what is, boys. I'm so excited I can't even wait. Yeah. Hootin' tootin' fartfic noogan. Now the only thing we've got to hope for is that that's an actual, 45. Shoot. A little gap here, which those had some gaps too. I could stand to grind them, but the difference between this and pipeline work is it's not X-ray. You can literally just drag a couple rods, fill it up, and it still look good. I mean, it ain't a terrible gap, but it's just not what we're looking for on pipeline. But we're not on a pipeline, Austin. Calm down. Calm down, boy. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Now we go down here and measure 31 1/8. Now I'm gonna go double check my measurement. We'll go 31 1/8. All right, so before I mark this other one, I almost forgot, I already did mark it all, but we'll want to find the center, put this number 4 directly on top by using this center finder. This is also Flange Wizard brand. I say also because I've talked about Flange Wizard brand before, maybe not in this video, but I'm gonna go ahead and give that a little bump and then get her to level. So pert near level. I'm gonna come over here to our reference line. And then get this bad boy level. Bad boy. Oh, too much, too much. Here we go. Give her a little bump. Alrighty, folks. Alrighty, folks. Now, erase the marks that I started to put on here. Good, only had 2 of them on there, that's good. Find my receipt paper that I used. Where's that thing at? There it is. Down here in the toolbox. Nice and safe. Didn't blow away, that's good. Now I'm just gonna make sure I line one of these notches up with that punch mark. I'll go ahead and just put my starter right there. Yeah, boy. Go ahead and make our marks all the way around this thing. Better save that since I'm doing a few more of them, huh? I'm not gonna lie, I get in the habit of throwing that stuff away once you use it, because unlike a pipeline test, you normally only have one branch to take. Not always, but just most generally. So you just chunk it, But I need to keep in mind I'm fixing to cut, let's see, 2, 4, 6 more of these. So I'm gonna try to save it. Call this 0. And then from our reference line over, inch and what did I say? Inch and 11, and 4 and 13. Inch and 11. Alrighty. Y'all ready? Are y'all ready for this? Well, it does not fit the greatest yet. See this big old gap? What in the world, folks? What in the world, folks? So, that tells me that we need to do a little fitting. Sand these throats down a little bit, get her to come to. You know what I would like to do though? I'm gonna go get my center finder and put a center mark here and a center mark here. Then I can line this center mark up and this center mark up, or out here, this center mark, to make sure I'm in the center. So this goes back to the branch test also. Anytime you're fitting something like this, you want to put it in the same place every time, because see, like I could be rolled this way or whatever, and if you go to sanding on it one place, you put it up there different, you might try to sand a different area and it'll throw y'all off. So it's a good idea to get everything square and centered, you know, laid out where you want it. That way you have a goal and you're going back to that same place every time you try the fit. If that makes sense. It looks great on the inside. Tootin' Farfrick-Nugan. If only it was that good everywhere. Let's see here. Yeah, if only it was that good everywhere, boys. Give her a tap. Good old reference line here. Okay. All right, so I think we're gonna be able to live with this here. There's a slight gap here, about 1/8 on each side if I divide it up evenly, but that is definitely within tolerance whenever it comes to fence and structural work. You know, I've welded a lot worse on pipelines, so I'm not gonna waste my time trying to get it perfect whenever I can just whip a little, you know, filler pass and then put a pretty, you know, cap pass over all of it. But yeah, there it is. I'm pretty pleased with it. That is pretty neat. So this 45 right here, I think will come to about 8.5, and I marked 9, and then I just came, you know, so I mean, it doesn't have to be directly on that line. That's just what I was shooting for. So that was my main concern whenever I laid this all out. By the time I cut this 45, I didn't want this to be, you know, running into my 45, but there's plenty of room there, so that will work. Now, only 1, 2, 3 more to go.
So if you haven't seen the first 2 videos of this project, you might be wondering, Austin, how are you going to haul this? This is way oversized. You're right. We're going to be cutting the top tacks, everything that is tacked to the overhead section, the one horizontal, the main horizontal piece. We'll be cutting all those tacks. That way we can haul this in 3 pieces. Alright, so to explain what I'm doing here, anytime that I'm trimming something back with a grinder, specifically a branch situation like this, I mean, technically I do this with square tubing, plate, anything. Anytime I'm trimming it back with a grinder, I always lay a bevel on it. As you can kind of see here, I've already laid the bevel on it. And what that bevel does is it allows me to gauge how much I'm taking out. So I put the bevel on and then I sand down the bevel, but by putting that bevel on there, I can gauge how much I'm taking out, if that makes sense. It helps me keep everything somewhat even. That way I don't take out too much. My advice for this week comes from Mike Rowe, the guy off of Dirty Jobs. Kayla actually told me about this past week, I guess. She heard it from him somewhere, I don't know, on a podcast or something, that in one of his classrooms growing up, a teacher had a poster up that said, "Work smarter, not harder." I heard that growing up also. You know, my grandpa, we'd be doing something and he'd say, "Work smarter, not harder." And even though that's good advice in the sense of like, if you have an A-frame or a tractor sitting around, don't try to lift something that's going to hurt your back. That's where that's good advice. Where it's not so good advice, or where I think some people have started to get it skewed, is society has told us that doing labor-intensive jobs is not a good career because you're tearing up your body or you're doing this. It's not. So it's kind of taken away the appreciation for people, blue-collar people like you and I, that work with our hands and our backs and our knees and our sweat to make a living. And so Mike Rowe changed the poster to "Work smarter and harder." And I really liked that because it's so true. There's such a demand for blue collar or trade work, welders, carpenters, plumbers, electricians, all of us. There's a need for that in the world, here in America. So don't be ashamed. Be proud to be blue collar. Work smarter and harder. Not all of us are made to sit in an office all day. So like Mike Rowe said, work smarter and harder. Thank y'all for watching. And remember, if you're interested in any of the tools that I've used, the Blue Book, the circle burners, these welding shirts, or any other thing that you may have seen me use in any of my videos, check out my website, AROSSWELDING.com. Thank y'all for all the support. Thank you for watching. And remember, learn something every day.